Property Pulse.
With Espas Real Estate. Think Dubai Real Estate. Think Espas Real Estate.
Right, continued shortage of high-end projects. Demand for off-plan properties remaining strong, especially, we're told, given the influx of HNWI's high net worth individuals into Dubai. Is that the case? Well, let's find out as we continue our conversation with our friends at Espas Real Estate. Jake Matthews-Hubbard has been kind enough to join us now. Jake is the Sales Director Off-Plan Investment at Espas Real Estate. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So you got your new report through, the Espas Off-Plan report for May. Main findings?
So yeah, this is a monthly report we send out to all of our investors. So key headlines is the fact that the value of transactions in off-plan in May was 25 billion. That's actually 13% up from May last year. The volume of transactions is about 10,000. That's slightly down by 6%. And if you zoom in on the segment of these markets, so 94% of that supply is apartments, 5% is townhouses, and 1% is villas. So of course, the townhouse and villa segment of the market, heavily undersupplied. If we look at the number of transactions of villas and townhouses in May, just 574 transactions in off-plan. And that is 49% down from the previous year. Now, why is that? It's because there just has been less launches in villas and townhouses. There's been staggered launches as well. So what the developers will do will release some of the master communities in phases as well. So when I was on last time, we spoke about the new Jumeirah Golf Estates project. The first phase will just be 250 townhouses, for example.
Hang on, I ain't any expert in this field. You is, but those numbers just don't seem to stack up for me. 94% are apartments, so developers are going gung ho when it comes to all things apartments. But why can't they produce more townhouses and villas?
There's only a limited amount of land where they can build these master communities where it is possible to do so. And again, depending on their models and how they look at these things, you can build higher in the sky versus building out several villas and townhouses in the community as well. So particularly in central locations, as we've discussed before, in the likes of Jumeirah Islands, Shoba Central, the new Jebel Ali Racecourse project as well, you can offer more units available for sale by building apartments.
I mean, we're looking at different elements, niches, sectors of the overall numbers, which are good. Yet again, off-plans continues to boom. Again, is it still the same key factor sustaining that popular momentum when it comes to off-plan?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, exactly what you've said there. There is a lot of options when you're looking at apartments. So I think you have to be even more picky when it comes to looking at investment option there, or for personal use as well, which is a growing trend that we are seeing buyers purchase their future home via off-plan. They're happy to make that wait as well for 2 to 4 years. So of course, the key fundamentals is location, developer, their track record around this as well. And particularly with an apartment, what is the kind of infrastructure and economic story around that? So for example, I think Expo City is a fantastic apartment investment opportunity because of the level of growth we're going to see there. And I think if you can get something unique about an apartment investment, such as a nice view or a more functional layout, that's going to help you in the long run have that higher appreciation and stronger rental yields as well.
I suppose one thing that comes with off-plan is that need for trust. You mentioned it just there. You know, you have to have trust in your developer. You have to have seen results from the past as well. A lot of that is built by the regulatory environment. How has the regulatory environment in Dubai specifically sort of evolved to protect off-plan property investors?
Yeah, great question. And it's definitely one that our international investors are asking us more and more, because there is often misconceptions about how the market is regulated. So of course, before there wasn't payment plans that are linked to construction milestones. It would be at particular dates as well, which is a good sign of trust from the developer that says, we will aim to deliver on time, otherwise you won't have to pay us. Pay us when we hit this milestone, which is tracked by the Dubai Land Department, which you can check on the app as well and go through and see, cool, we're at 60%, we're on track, or has it been pushed back slightly as well? So I think that's a good sign of confidence that more developers should be doing across their projects.
Cheeky question from me to you, and I'm not going to ask you to put your neck on the line here and name names, but you can if you want. Jake, that's what we're here for. But back in the day, used to be, a handful of developers, and you sort of knew who did what well, etc. Now there is just a glut of developers out there. So many international developers have come to market. Are there certain developers that do off-plan better than others? And again, not ask you to name names or anything like that, because that might be problematic for you. But what are the things that people need to look out for when it comes to choosing a developer?
Yeah, great question. I mean, even myself, I study the market day in, day out. It gets overwhelming with how many new developers there are in the market, new projects launching. We can't keep up. So at SPAS, we only focus on, I would say, the top 15 to 20 developers and the projects they're working on. Even then, we probably really push out to the market, the top 5 to top 10 as well. So again, it's similar to what we were discussing before. If it's one of the larger developers that have the strong track record, the reputation, that maybe they're government backed as well, they're launching a second phase of a project that they've previously sold out and it's handed over already, that is a good sign of confidence. However, I think we shouldn't ignore some emerging developers in the market that have a global representation. They have a track record in other locations. And we are seeing a growing rise of that. For example, there's UK developers moving across that have won awards in the UK where there is a more detailed regulatory process as well. And they're looking to expand in Dubai as well. So just because they haven't got a strong track record in Dubai doesn't mean we should ignore them and not look at what they're doing in the market. Quick
one about price, if I can. Again, how long's a piece of string these days? But Rich in Abu Dhabi has just texted us saying this. There's no point building villas and townhouses at the moment because none of us can afford to buy them. Okay, I mean, is that a fair... We know, obviously, we talk about high net worth individuals, we talk about big investments coming in, etc. But when it comes to values and costs for villas, are we seeing more sort of parity for buy-in for people or not?
I think that's overspilling from the secondary market, and that's probably a trend we've seen for the last 2 years or so, because beforehand, buyers would be very specific at looking at one community, maybe even one section of the community, and with time, where more communities have handed over, buyers are willing to go further out, and that's definitely a trend that we see in off-plan as well. There's still significant value for money that you can make from looking at off-plan to get on the property ladder or to upsize as well. So yeah, there are options out there, but you have to go further out to get that extra value for money.
And final one from me, 30 seconds left, one that Brandy and I have been talking about. Times were that things got quiet during the summer, no more launches, everyone went away, etc. Is that going to happen this year?
Yeah, we already know some of the developers are waiting for the summer to finish, and they will postpone some of their bigger projects that they plan to release as well. That being said, there's still some fantastic projects available where there is supply left over as well, and sometimes some of these smaller developers will offer special deals across the summer as well. So still great opportunity in the market.
You might well get a deal over the summer. Jake Matthews-Hubbard is the Sales Director Off-Plan Investment at SPAS Real Estate. Big thanks to Gil and Jake for joining us live on our regular segment with SPAS Real Estate here this morning.